And first of all, I'm going to introduce Valerie Bean from Culture Ireland to say a few words.
Thanks very much, Lucy, and thanks very much, TV. I think you said absolutely everything that needs to be said about Culture Ireland. I'm delighted to be here today. It's the first time in a theatre space in 18 months, and it really feels like as if we're getting back into the real world again. So delighted to be presenting these artists to you today. I hope you enjoy the shows and the pitches. It will be a really exciting time now when the artists are able to travel again. And as the world is opening up, please do come to Culture Ireland with any proposals that you have to present these artists in your theatres, in your streets, and we'll be delighted to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Now it's to the artists. So the first artist we're going to hear from is Ken Fanning of Tumble Circus.
All right, hi, my name's Ken. I'm from a company called Tumble Circus. We're based out of Belfast in Northern Ireland. Thank you. We were founded in 1995, which was a long, long time ago. It was myself and Tina Sagener who met in Dublin, and we started doing street theatre there and then moved up to Belfast. We are a circus company. We make circus. We have our own big top. We're the only non-traditional big top touring circus in Ireland. But as well as making circus for the big top, we also try to make circus for all types of different spaces, including the street, nightclubs, theaters, trees, bathrooms, and now also online. We make a lot of film, circus film. We've traveled globally. We've gone to Australia. We've been to France. We've toured in Norway, Iceland, all those sort of places. We've won awards internationally. Best circus show at the Adelaide Fringe Festival. We've 5-star reviews, and also our film work has won awards. And yeah, we're really good. And we promise to turn up on time and not leave a mess. And today I'm here to promote or talk about our new show, Cikada Circus, which is an outdoor show, 5-person show, 4 bikes. We cycle places, we get off the bikes, we do circus, which is like acrobatics, hula hoops, juggling, bit of clowning, and then we get back on the bikes and we leave. High concept stuff, no. Good, yes. Effective, yes. Good fun, yes, really good fun. A lot of our work historically has been really political and satirical stuff. We've done a lot of that. We're from Belfast, politics is everywhere. But at this show, we decided we just wanted to give people really a good time. During lockdown, we did some shows in care homes and schools where we just went out and did it in our community in Belfast, and really enjoyed it, and really felt the need. Just felt the joy of performing again, and the joy to be able to connect with people and share with people and give people that uplifting, just give people a bit of crack. So that's what this show is about. It's about giving a bit of crack. We've got a couple of models of it. We were recently in Carlow at the Carlow Arts Festival, where we arrived and we had a central base and we cycled to all the different places where we did shows. We were doing 3 shows a day, and that was great. Then we went to another county. We went to County Sligo on the west coast of Ireland, and some of the places were like an hour's drive away because they were in rural communities. So of course we had to drive there, but then get the bikes out. We really enjoyed the whole idea of engaging with the communities we go to. So we did week-long residency when we were in Sligo teaching workshops, and then spent another week doing the shows, going back to all the different communities that we had engaged with the kids and the adults and stuff, which is really, really great. We really like the idea of them being embedded in a community for a short amount of time, so we get to know people and make a real connection. What else do you need to know about it? It's great. We're a self-contained show. Everything's on the bikes. We have our own sound system, so we don't need any real tech. tech support. I mean, that's the whole idea of it. Yeah, how am I doing, Lucy? Do you want more? How long is it? How long? It's a 20-minute show. We'll do it 3 times a day. Might do it more if you really want us to. Yeah, that's me, I think.
Thank you, Ken Fanning. Now, our next artist we have is Seve Feathers. So, welcome, Seve.
Hi, everyone in the room and everyone online. It's such a pleasure to be here and to be talking about work that is happening right now. So thank you so much for joining me today. So my name is Seve Feathers and I'm here to talk about Fleeting, which is the show that I have been able to create this year thanks to the Circus Project Award, thanks to the Arts Council of Ireland. So this show started in my brain, I suppose, a few years ago, but maybe first I'll tell you a little bit more about me. So I'm an image maker, a vision creator. I tend to think in images a lot. I'm a photographer as well. I'm a director. I founded Feathers Ensemble a few years ago. And we have been to many different places with In the City Still, which is the show that is site-specific that we have created together. We've been to Spuffin, to Surge recently, to Winchester, the Head Fair, to Spraoi, and we are back actually in Spraoi next week with a different show. Fleeting was created this year. Thanks to the award that I got, I was able to bring an amazing team to create the show. So my director, Megan Kennedy from Junk Ensemble, has helped me focus on a different methodology to create something that is very about embodiment. So Fleeting is a show about existential questions. It's a show about the ephemeral, a show about vulnerability. And as a maker and a performer, that is something that I really try to strive on stage, is that raw authenticity, trying to find the places in the body that are like really true impulses that tell really where the body is at, and trying to reconcile that very elusive sense of balance. What is balance? What is flow? And trying to portray that. So in Fleeting, I use 2 props to help me convey those concepts. One is chalk. The reason why I turned to chalk is that it really helps convey that ephemeral and vulnerability on stage. I'll show you in a minute or in a moment what that can look like on stage. So you have to imagine chalk pretty much everywhere on stage. It does get a bit messy. So this is just to give you an idea of the aesthetic. I'm trying not to get too messy here, but yeah, so you get an idea. So Fleeting was initially conceived or designed to be an indoors, black box theater type of show. Then the pandemic happened and we have been able to try and adapt it to an outdoors. And yesterday we premiered it here in Spraoi, and it was actually really exciting to see that that actually also works outdoors really well, with the elements, with the wind, with the street happening all around. So that was great to see, actually. So the other prop in the show is a light bulb, like a bear hanging light bulb, and it actually serves as another character. So there's the chalk and there's the light bulb that creates movement, and that helps me portray those moments of turmoil and then contrast with balance. There's a lot of moving around and ducking, dodging to create those contrasts. So I suppose that's everything about the aesthetic of the show. It's contemporary dance and circus. The show is 30-minute long. It's solo. All it needs is a light bulb to be rigged, a dance floor. It's a company of 2 in terms of touring, with support for light and sound, and stage managing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Trying to think if there was something else that was very important to say, but no, I think that's it. So looking forward to any questions, and thank you again for being here today.
Thank you, Severin. And next, we are delighted to present to you Ali and Henrik of Cikada Circus.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone in the room. Hello, everyone in the digital room. We are Cikada Circus, and I'm Henrik.
I'm Ali.
And we are a relatively new circus company. We were formed in 2018, and we do mainly hand-to-hand acrobatics. That will be our main focus. We're based between Dublin and Belfast. I'm originally from Sweden, but I've been in Ireland for about 7-8 years.
And I'm from England. I've been here for about 4 years now.
Our focus as a company is on weaving acrobatic movements with abstracted, recognizable narratives. And when we create work, we always try to push ourselves to explore new styles, inspirations, and new settings for circus performance. So far, we've used poems, sculptures, land, and cityscapes to initiate a creation process. We currently have 1 show on the road and 2 more in the pipeline for next season.
The show we're presenting here is our first show, Cikada, an acrobatic, non-verbal outdoor show that fits into a suitcase. The inspiration for the show came from a poem named Cikada by a Swedish poet and vagabond sailor, Harry Martinson. The poem is a daydreamy escapism of shrinking and turning into an insect and taking off when there are troubles in the world. We used this idea of transformation and metamorphosis to influence our movement qualities. We added an abstract layer of behaving as insects onto our human interactions to show and compare the interconnectedness of humans and the rest of the natural world. Our show is a tale of companionship, its ups, its downs, its joys, its struggles and revenge, all told through the embodiment of insect habits, physical theatre and acrobatics. It's silly, funny, and heartwarming, including fight scenes and romance, and all of the above. The show won Most Innovative Show at Limerick Fringe in 2019, and we've had the pleasure of performing it at a number of festivals around Ireland and abroad, such as Cirque in Mallorca, Maggie al Borgo in Italy, Imaginarius in Portugal, Cork Midsummer Festival, National Circus Festival of Ireland, and we're here now for the 2nd time in Spraoi.
The development of the show was supported by Dublin Circus Project and Dance Ireland through their Catalyst residency, where we were working with our director and artistic collaborator, Alain Servant, and movement choreographer, Deirdre Griffin. For the music for the show, we picked the highly atmospheric and dreamy tracks of the artist 1900 and a pre-show soundscape by Irish sound designer Craig Cox. The show is easily adapted to fit different spaces, and we're always keen to perform it in a new setting. So if you're interested as a programmer, we would encourage you to have a conversation with us about putting it on in some unusual space. And the show is mainly an outdoor show, but we've also done it indoors. So anything non-traditional theater would work for us. So far, we performed it in parks and town squares, in an 18th century museum, in big tops and the altar of a church. The performance area we require is about 6 times 4 meters semicircle with a relatively flat and smooth ground. With our own tech, meaning we have a quick get in and get out, so we're pretty much self-sufficient. We're also a couple in life, so to save a few pennies, you can put us in the same room. The show is 30 minutes long, non-verbal and suitable for all ages. And if you are here today at Spraoi, you can catch the show at John Roberts Square at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you.
I almost forgot my job there. Thank you, Ali and Henrik. And next, I would like to introduce you to Debbie Wright of Turas Theatre Collective. Debbie.
It's a lovely day for a hike. Join avid hill walkers Cecil, Katrina and Jane as they head off-piste on a local hiking trail. Equipped with a map, a compass, a rope and a flask of tea, these intrepid adventurers traverse the craggy landscape, taking their audience on a journey of precipitous drops and sheer facades. Expect steep terrain, boggy ground, breathtaking views. Will they reach the summit before they lose daylight? It's a Lovely Day for a Hike is a roving show that invites the audience to join in the fun. It is a celebration of the great outdoors for all the family. Comfortable shoes recommended. My name's Debbie and I'm from Turas Theatre Collective. We are a small-scale street theatre company based in the west of Ireland, and we like telling stories in different ways, from roving comic shows to more serious presentations on the human condition. In 2017, we were formed and we created a show called Remnants that has been performed in Ireland, the UK and in Slovenia. In Slovenia, we won the Ivana Ljubljana Award for the best international presentation. And this show is quite a different style of presentation to that. And really it grew out of the recent situation that we all found ourselves in. So I was thinking about shows that didn't involve static audiences and began thinking about the idea of walkabout. And then I was thinking about characters that are always moving, and that's where the idea of the hiker came up. And I also was thinking a lot about our connection to nature and the importance of that during this time. So all those three things that went into really the devising of this new show. So basically the audience meet at a set location. The characters arrive in all of their hiking gear and they introduce themselves and they talk to the audience as if they know them. So they endow them as fellow hikers. And in this way, the presentation style is, immediately communicated and then off they all go. So they then stop at set locations that we will have already recce'd, and the actors perform set routines that are really silly, over the top recreations of traversing and climbing various obstacles. So every obstacle is epic. For example, a puddle of water becomes like the Amazonian River, and a whole routine emerges as to how they're going to traverse this epic obstacle. A mountain, a monument or a fountain in a town or a city becomes Mount Everest, and they get their ropes and carabiners and all their climbing equipment out in order to be able to sort of get over this this monument. So they're like silly, comic, sort of epic routines, really. It works in an urban or in a rural setting, and it works in a national or an international context as well. So it's been devised with the international in mind. So the performers will include some of the local language into the set routines, which are very visual anyway. They also love to get out a phrase book when they're interacting more intimately with the audience. And so, yeah, this also adds another layer of humour to the piece. It also travels very well. It's a very compact show, very minimal requirements. All the props and costumes fit into each of the actors' rucksacks. It's a 30-minute duration. We cover an area of maximum 500 meters. We will perform to 40 people and preferably twice a day. So these colourful characters will brighten up any festival or event. And it's a perfect response to the pandemic. It's about freedom, connection, nature, our ability to get over big hurdles, and the importance of laughter. So you can see us next week. We're performing on the Greenway at the Spraoi Festival from the 12th to the 15th. Don't forget, comfortable shoes and a good rain jacket. And every day is a lovely day for a hike.
So much, Debbie. That was great. And now I'd like to introduce you to Grant Goldie.
Everybody close to rubbery! Everybody close to rubbery!
Hello. My name is Grant Goldie, and I am a juggler and manipulator of objects, images, and fingers. You can try that at your own expense. I'm here to talk to you about a show called Quality Seconds. This is it. It's quite compact. It requires about a 6x6 playing space, and it lasts about 30 minutes. Before I talk to you about Quality Seconds, apparently I've got to tell you a little bit about myself. So, I'm an internationally touring performer for about the past 25 years or so, 20, 25, so quite a few years. I've performed in over 37 around 37 countries. The work that I make is generally non-verbal, which is why it's been able to go to lots of different places. Some of the places that I performed in festival tents with 5 seats through to 1,500 seats twice a day for 2 months. It was a really big show you probably never heard of called the Thursford Spectacular. A little bit closer to home, Dublin Olympia with River Dream Productions, who some people might have heard of. That's the people that brought you Riverdance. A little bit closer to home, and obviously a company you've probably heard of from up north, a lovely little festive winter show with Tumble Circus, who are fantastic, and obviously you should book them. But maybe you should just book all of us that are here today and just take us round in a little Irish unit. That'd be quite nice, but don't have me as the talker because this just isn't Irish. Where I do most of my work is all on the street, and I love the street for many, many reasons, and one of them being is that street arts improve the quality of life without having to go to an establishment of art, without having to be demanded on physically, emotionally, or financially. Street arts are there, and you as promoters are like art dealers bringing artistic experiences to the people that need them, so well done. Now, I've won awards. I've won People's Choices, I've won Golden Hats, I won Best Hair when I used to have some. I took a show once and put it in a venue, a festival in Perth International Street Theatre Festival. No, not Perth, that's an outdoor festival. I did that too, but I did Perth Fringe, and I put my show in a venue for 6 nights, and there was about 30 other circus companies there, and I won Best Circus. Hey, aren't I great? But about the show, when we first came out of one of the lockdowns, I was asked to do a show, and I was told that the show could be stopped at any particular point in time if the audience got too big. As it goes, the show was pulled 3 days before the audience got there because there was a spike in the local area. But I wanted to make a show that if it was pulled, the audience wouldn't feel like it was pulled and like it was stopped. I wanted to make it so that they wouldn't feel like COVID had taken something else away from them. So I got all these really little bits of material and I strung them all together to make an overarching show. A lot of the material is like between 30 seconds and a minute and a half of each individual little bit, which means it could be wrapped up really easily. And I kind of made this half-hour show out of it, and I really enjoyed doing it. So, so I decided that that was the thing that I was going to do. And I feel it can be best, I have to read this bit, otherwise I forget it. I feel like it can be, I should have brought me glasses. as I said, I have been doing this quite a few years, so. It is a Quality Seconds, a non-verbal show of comedy and wow, a collection of quirky and technical object manipulation, juggling and late night thoughts. That's pretty much a summation of the show. And some of you, obviously you Zoomers, are not going to be able to see it. Some of the people that are in the audience might not be able to get round to seeing it. So I'm going to leave you with one bit of the show. It's about, as I say, it's all short stuff. So this one is 50 seconds long, and it's kind of like the punchline to a part of the show, but I think it also does quite well at standing in its own right. So as I say, my name is Goldie. The show's called Quality Seconds, and have a good day. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Grant Goldie, everybody. Thank you, Grant. So now we are delighted to present to you our last and final act of this evening, or presentation of this evening, the lovely Chantal and Thomas of Fidget Feet Aerial Dance.
It's just so amazing to be in a room with all of you guys and hearing all this work that we've managed to pull off during so many lockdowns. And it's my first time even just standing in a theatre. It's incredible. But that wasn't what I was here to say. Hi, my name is Chantal from Fidget Feet. I'm the creative director, and this is my good friend and colleague Thomas from Kjol Connected. Fidget Feet is 23 years old, and we're an aerial dance company. We founded the Irish Aerial Creation Centre in Limerick, which we call the National Home for Aerial Arts, just so we feel important and we can get, aerial infrastructure risen in Ireland. We also are company resident in the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance, and we run a training festival in Donegal, where I'm from, hence the Donegal accent. And it's called the Irish Aerial Dance Festival. So our aim has always been to grow aerial dance in Ireland and improve the infrastructure here for us in Ireland. And why we're here today is to talk about A Handful of Dreams, which is our new show, which mixes Irish traditional music, Irish traditional dancing, and aerial arts. The show was inspired by the Irish poet W.B. Yeats, The Stolen Child. And it really touches on what all of you have been sharing today, being stuck in lockdown. The show really started when Waterford Spraoi had booked us last year, and then right at the last minute, they pulled the carpet from all of us. So I talked to the artists and we're like, guys, what do you want to do? Do you want to make a new show? So we've been quietly in the Creation Centre this last while, creating a show, really reflecting and feeling what it's like being a human being. So the show really captures that sense of humanity and that joy of being alive. So I want to introduce Thomas. So Thomas is he co-composed the music with Jim Daly, my other half and the co-founder of Fidget Feet, and he's going to share with you some music from the show.
Thank you. So those were two little snippets of two tunes, Easter Snow, a very old traditional air, and the Song of the Chanter March, two tunes that form part of the tapestry, the musical tapestry of A Handful of Dreams. A Handful of Dreams experience for me has been absolutely incredible, to say the least. Flying while playing the pipes, I can imagine. Surrounded by stunning aerialists is not par for the course of the usual traditional musician. You'd usually find us in the corner of a pub playing music, not sort of swinging around, you know, so it's been absolutely incredible and I'm absolutely hooked. So who knows where we'll go next. Myself and Jim Daly, we come from very different musical backgrounds. So our coming together to write the music has been really, really special. We've ventured into the unknown. We've taken lots of risks, you know, in our own musical selves, I feel. And I think something really extraordinary has happened. We've really explored that liminal space between traditional music, Irish culture, and traditional arts and aerial dance. And I think something extraordinary has happened, and we're really, really excited to share it with audiences far and wide. So, thank you, Chantal.
Thanks, Thomas. And yeah, like what Thomas says, it's our history in Ireland is very rooted in our music and our tradition. So I'm always really excited to collaborate with that. And the show is really grounded in that sense of place and the music and mixing it with the aerial. Fidget Feet makes like aerial work, large, small, medium size, for indoor work, for outdoor work for young audiences. And this show, A Handful of Dreams, is 30 minutes long. It's a mid-scale outdoor show. We have a massive aerial rig, which is about 9 meters high. And we've managed, through funding from the Arts Council and also from the Abbey Theatre, purchased some winches, which, for those of you that don't know what that is, it allows us to press buttons manually to allow the aerialists to go up and down, so we don't need 4 or 5 bodies and pipers to go up and down. And so what that allows us as aerial dancers is to really use the ground. It's really important in aerial dance that we use the ground and also the air. So the winches allows that freedom. We need about 14 by 14 meters space, and we need concrete ballast to secure the rig. And we have 5 aerial dancers, 2 traditional musicians, 1 child, currently my daughter, and a tech team of about 3 people. We have been commissioned by Spraoi, by Garter Arts Festival, by the Town Hall in Galway, by Shatir, and by the Riverbank Arts Centre, and funded by the Arts Council. So we're really excited to be here at Spraoi. So anyone that's still here, you can come and see us at 5 and 9. And those of you that aren't here, that want to come and see us, we've still got performances in Ennis in August and the Galway Arts Festival in September. And we'll be ready to tour next year all around Ireland or internationally when it's safe to do so. Oh yes, and any of the promoters that would like to see the show in full, we have a full film of the show that we filmed in King John's Castle, which is a really beautiful place in Limerick. So we're really excited to perform in your village, your town, in your city. And we hope to share this show, A Handful of Dreams, with you. And anyone interested, email info@fidgetfeet.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Chantal and Thomas. And that was the last of our pitches. So I'd like to now invite all of the artists to come and sit with me on the stage. There are some chairs back there, Thomas. We'll grab them now. And if you have any questions from your Zoom world, please pop them in the chat and I'll be able to read them out here. And you, of course, in the audience here can just shoot away. So we get the chairs and we'll be back in 2 seconds. Come up here, artists, please. Yeah. Can you see us, Patrick? See us all on this camera. Might have to shoot it up. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. I have one question in the chat here, and then I'll come to the live audience. What do you do? This is the never-ending question. You all get it a million times. What do you do when it rains? I know, right? I know, but it's the question that everybody gets. We're doing street theatre. It's very likely to rain here in Waterford, Spraoi. It depends on the rain.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that, Debbie?
Well, it does. You know, light rain, mostly, well, the show that I'm just talking about, that could be performed in light rain, if the audience would be prepared to also be out in the light rain. But yeah, if it's heavy downpours, we usually have to reschedule for a window a bit later in the day, or
Yeah.
I don't know, for some people it's more dangerous to perform, right? If you're doing
Oh no, we just keep going. Rain doesn't bother us.
Yeah.
No, yeah, just finish the show. Never stop.
Never stop.
I am not a discipline. I will not dissolve.
There we go. Are we any other questions in the chat here, people?
Yes.
I mean, it was lovely to hear all of the different kind of shows, the way they're all so very different. And I really particularly liked, you know, we have the kind of the more theatrical, with this aerial music, with very conceptual, it's all so different. So Severin, would you like to talk to us a little bit about the chalk and about that, you know, the way that you're going to do it inside and outside? Is there, can you explain a little bit about that?
You mean about the practical aspect of
Yeah.
the chalk? Yeah, so with regards to being outdoors, the amazing thing is a little bit of wind, because it creates a magical experience, because it gets picked up, and it's just very nice to play with that. The less nice thing about it is, like, as soon as it starts raining, it does get a little bit complicated. The chalk, you would think it creates, you know, stability on stage. It actually makes it soapy, as I found out yesterday. So yeah, with rain, this show is definitely a little bit tricky, to be fair. So we're thinking about it now with my production team, and we're just thinking if we have a space that is even partly covered in cities, you know, have galleries, have covered spaces, then it's not an issue. In terms of indoors, it's perfect. There's no problem. But yeah, the outdoor element for sure needs to still be refined. It's a brand new show that had its first try yesterday in the midst of heavy downpours all afternoon, and we got that window of dryness to try it. So yeah, it's being addressed, and I'm sure we'll find ways to make it work. It you know, keeps it exciting.
Yeah. Thank you, Seb. I mean, there's a question here about videos. Do you all have videos? And I just might direct you there. There is a link in the chat to the showcase booklet, which has links to every single one of these artists' videos and other media. And just on that idea of video, and Ken, you mentioned it in your pitch, over the year and a half, this whole idea of creating work for online, have you all been dabbling in making videos? All of you?
No.
Novices?
No.
No? One.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I've been dabbling in video since I was 16.
Yes.
So it's not really dabbling.
It's not dabbling.
No.
No. No, I wouldn't mean to say.
I don't dabble.
You don't dabble.
I immerse myself in the whole video film circus thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did it not appeal to any of the rest of you?
We've been dabbling in his videos.
Yeah, you dabble.
I dabbled in one of Ken's videos.
Yeah.
I made one of my own as well, but that was good. Thanks.
And I think we just held out as long as we could, you know, because I love making live work. So I think we just held out for as long as we could. And then when it became apparent, right, you know, so we started making more films, and it was a way for some of the funders and partners to still be able to fund us and give artists work. So it became a medium, you know, to use, but my preference would be
Your preference is live.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I would add as well that like as a photographer, I actually love film, and I did enjoy making that film for the National Circus Festival of Ireland that I was commissioned to do for their previous edition that wasn't able to go in person. But I enjoy making films if the work is meant for that format, or if I can design it to, you know, specifically for that format. But if it's, I have work and I have to make it happen, and it has to happen online, and I have to make it fit the filming, then I'm not so taken by that. So
Yeah.
that has been the difficulty for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, a lot of artists. Because, and fleeting, for example, I have been asked a lot, is it going to be streamed? Is it going to be an online experience? And for now, at least, I want to hold off on doing that, because for me right now, it's a live experience. It's in the textures, it's in the visuals, it's in the being present. And right now, I'm not able, or I don't have to compromise on that. Maybe I will have to look into that later, but right now, no, I don't want it to be a film.
No, okay.
But there's a really nice trailer you can
So you have a recording. Okay, good plug. Ken.
if it's interesting, I think, you know, a lot of festivals, after doing a bunch of online stuff, a lot of festivals were like, oh, we're going to continue doing this sort of stuff, because they realized they could reach a lot of more audiences beyond their normal audience. So I think that whole online and video stuff is going to, you know, it's expanded during the pandemic, and I think it's going to be a thing that's going to happen a lot more.
Yeah.
People like artists who can turn up and have that element to what they do. Yeah. So I think,
I suppose the sort of thing against it is that I would say I create work outdoors, especially to have people come really close together that wouldn't normally be beside one another, or, you know, I'm sure that's why we all create work, and then suddenly it going to that remote world of, you know, the digital world just seems to me very far from why I sort of create work anyway, although I have seen people do it very successfully. But I think, as Seve says, you need to know why you're doing it for film, and I think that's really crucial.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Sheila, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, just a question. Has social distancing changed the audience experience and interaction for you? And are there any particular practices you have or asked to take?
preferences, well,
Has social distancing changed practices for you? And are there any particular, sorry, it's quite hard to hear. Yeah.
Has social distancing changed how you interact with an audience? And are there any particular practices that you prepare when you're asked to take account of social distancing?
Yeah. How do you deal with social distancing in your audiences?
well, that was, like, can I talk about it?
Yes.
Don't want to be the only one talking, but like, that was because we did, when we were making our show, the Cikada Circus show, like the first times we went out to some care homes and stuff, and, you know, and we're packing up our shit at the end, and all these old people coming over trying to talk to me, like, away. So then we went back into rehearsals, and we were like, you know, we've evolved the show so they cycle in, and the get in and the get out are all part of the show. So we didn't give people the opportunity to come up and kiss, or didn't give people the opportunity to come up and mix with us and stuff. So yes, the answer is yes. We've had to alter it and stuff, and it's just a weird vibe, you know. It's different in different places.
Yeah.
I mean, what's been great, we've done a lot of shows this year with our show. I think we're on nearly about 40 shows, and what's been really nice is the pleasure of giving people the opportunity to see live shows again, and understanding that they're seeing something for the first time in like over a year or whatever, and them having the experience of this is normality coming back. So that's really a beautiful thing. But you can feel the tension of people going, should we be here? Should we be watching this? Are we far enough apart? The uncomfortableness, and then afterwards they're all laughing and had a good time and they go home and realize that was a good thing.
Yeah.
And we didn't all die.
I mean, Chantal, you did your first show with the Handful of Dreams in Carlow with an audience of 15, and it's a huge show.
Yeah.
How
like-
was that?
Yeah, I think it was just that thing of Joe at the time, you know, it's the festivals that are really carrying the safety of the audiences a lot. So, you know, Joe had that moment of like, do I take this absolutely massive show that's really expensive for only 15 people or not? And luckily for us, she did. And I think it was that desire, again, for us artists, even if it is only 15 people, at least we're getting to give that experience to them. And like what Ken said, you know, there was a lot of people crying. But what's so weird is that you're outside, we had benches, so everyone was, you know, 2 meters apart, and we spent a lot of time with the festival because we were doing 15 people, and then our last day of the shows, we managed to, the restrictions changed, so we were allowed to have 100. So we're like, oh my God, it's going to be so overwhelming. But even 100 people for that show was like, oh my God, this isn't normal either. But it's still, you know, and I kept my shit together to the very end. And then the last show I broke down crying just in the release of live performances, whether it's 15 or 100, you know. But what's odd is the mask element, even when you're outside, even when they're social distancing, because all you can see is their eyes. So you know that they're into it, but it's like, as humans connecting, we're used to seeing and feeling everything. And then our costume designer as well, because we're having the dancers move through the audience. So we're like, well, we better add masks to the costumes so the audience feel comfortable, you know, and the festival feels comfortable. And then there's a moment where they take it off and they perform. So it's definitely a new environment, but I feel as artists, our impulse is to create, perform, and share. And however those restrictions are in partnership with everybody else, we'll just try and make it work for our mental health and our humanity. Yeah.
Thank you, Chantal. Matcha, you wanted to.
Yeah, it's a question that came up, and it's not directed to you, but I know that it's for promoters more so. I'd love to know people that are taking acts are more in love with acts that aren't available online, you know, and it's something to really, I never thought of, so it's really fascinating to kind of reflect that and go, you know, are some people interested that it's something you cannot see online, and it's only live, and it's just such an extra special thing. So yeah, just want to go there.
That is, yeah, the whole idea that you can't actually see it online. Yeah, that it's either here or not. Yeah, yeah.
It's a difficult dilemma though, because we do want to reach the audience and we do want to share. But yeah, I think every project and every artist and every festival needs to ask themselves, yeah, what is it we're trying to do?
Yeah, and here we are, half online and half in the real world. So we, you know, on the one hand, we are here with people from Montreal to Mexico, so that's quite exciting too. Anybody else have any further questions, or will we just? Oh, Elizabeth.
Firstly, I want to say thank you, and well done, Lucy, for presenting this. It's the first live network opportunity we've had to come out, so thank you. And it's just been wonderful to listen to you all talk about your work, and it's fantastic. I'm interested to know, just especially just the transition from doing performance outdoors to indoors. I suppose it kind of aligns with funding as well. When you do apply for funding, does it have to change then from applying from under street performance circus? You should then have to transition to become a theatre event or contemporary dance event, or you know, it's this kind of with grant funding, there's kind of all these labels now between theatre, visual arts, street performance, and is, you know, that there might be more of a need to kind of a more open art form to support them. So there's such a crossover to maybe even enhance that crossover of street to indoor kind of performances.
Bringing street to the indoors, controversial.
No thanks. I'm much for being outdoors.
What do we feel? I mean, Henrik and Ali, I think you have done a few things which merge between sometimes you're in and sometimes you're out.
Yeah, well,
how does it affect the
first
change?
developed a show as an outdoor show. Then we did Dublin Fringe, in an indoor venue. So then we working again with our director, got a lighting designer and all that, and we feel that worked quite well. You know, Alan, our director, was very good at sort of letting us know what things to amplify for the indoors and outdoors and so on. And then from there we sort of took it outdoors, and now we call it an outdoor show. And now I suppose now we've sort of landed in outdoor show with possibilities of putting it on in an indoor, non-traditional theater space. So anything indoors, but we wouldn't really, I mean, we could of course go back to do it with a whole classical theater setting, but I think we find it a bit more interesting as well to perform it in kind of non-traditional performance spaces as well. We're just working with another show that we were supposed to premiere pretty much when COVID hit, so that was bad timing, but that was for galleries and museums, and that was the sort of spaces we wanted to explore with that show. So
but in that way, I'm not sure we're asking, like, so for funding for that,
yeah,
what avenue would you take?
oh well, I mean,
is that what you were kind of getting
yeah,
at?
so the second show I was talking about for galleries, that was funded through the Art Council as a circus project, and I think the circus funding would be both for outdoors and indoors.
Yeah. It's not really an issue, I don't think.
With
right
the street
now.
arts and spectacle is then specifically
I feel there is leeway. There's a lot of flexibility in how the funding is used. And like my experience throughout the pandemic, for example, with Fleeting was very much like that. It's like it started as an indoors, now it's outdoors. I just ended up with 2 designs for the show, thanks to a really good team. And so, yeah, I don't think with the funding itself, it's
I mean, it's really interesting because all these lines and boxes about what funding belongs where, what art form belongs where, like we're seeing enormous amounts of blending and merging of art together, dance coming together with circus, as Sheila in Dance Ireland will testify. And circus happens in big tops, but it happens on the street, but it happens in theatres, it happens in all sorts of places. Street and spectacle just doesn't happen in, like, its concept is that it can happen anywhere that is not a kind of formal red velvet seated area. It doesn't have, that doesn't mean it has to be outside. It can be in a warehouse or on a car park or in a forest. It just doesn't have to be on the street necessarily. So for me, that blurring of art form is changing. And street isn't an art form. Street is a place. It can be any art form on the street.
And you had a question.
Sorry, yes, Valerie.
Sorry, just to say from a cultural Ireland perspective, it's circus that covers street art, so it doesn't really matter whether it's indoors or outdoors. So it's going to be presented in a theatre space overseas, or it's going to be on street in the city, it will be still covered by circus.
On the funding boxes.
And I think what's excited as a creator is understanding both mediums. So it's like with a handful of, like initially, the last time that we were out was January 2020 in Philadelphia, presenting, pitching with Culture Ireland. We were pitching an indoor version of using Yeats' poetry, mixing Irish traditional music and whatever. And me and Thomas met there, like we had to go to the other side of the world, and then the pandemic happened. So I knew that it was going to be quicker for us to get outdoors. So we wanted to make an outdoor one. And then the learnings that we've achieved in creating this show, we're going to make an indoor version together called Twilight. But it's not, it can't be the same show. It'll have elements of the same, but the medium's different. And a company in the UK, Motion House, is really good at that. Like it's a dance company that's known as Dance and Circus, and they make really good indoor. And in the last 10 years, they've been doing their outdoor. So it's like the themes and the stories may be the same, but it's like adapting. And then as an arts company, it means that you have more possibilities of employing your artists throughout the year. So it's not just outdoor that can only happen in the summer. You can also then get indoor stuff. So we're excited about taking what we've learned together collaboratively outdoors and then seeing what that will become indoor.
Thank you, Chantal. You're getting lovely comments here in the chat from everywhere, from Russia and Argentina and all sorts of places. So thank you. Hi, Sergei. And just one more question, and then unless there's anybody else in the audience here. Oh, there is. Okay, can I just ask this question from here, and then I'll come to you. So just Richard has a question for you, Debbie, about, do you research the location before you arrive to the site and connect with local issues, or how do you do that?
So we just arrive a little bit before. We're going to obviously do the performance, and we have a look at where the starting point will be, and then we find our objects and our obstacles and what order we're going to do them in and all of that once we're there. Yeah, and it doesn't actually take that long. It takes us about an hour actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need to be there a week ahead.
No, absolutely not.
To climb mountains.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Good to know. Thank you.
The
Thanks
world
for
is
that
quite
question.
similar, you know. Yeah.
Thanks for that question, Richard. Miriam.
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, as a kind of follow-up to what we were just talking about, the indoor outdoor thing. Have you found, because of the situation we're in at the moment, that what are traditionally, I suppose, indoor festivals, have you found that there are more work opportunities for you at those festivals? I suppose the question is, are festivals reaching out now and saying, actually, we now need to do more outdoor work simply because at the moment it's safer and it's easier to do outdoor work? Have you found any increased work opportunities in that, and including Northern Ireland as well, in that?
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, yeah.
Yes, would be the
I'm just
answer.
interested to know, I mean, I know Chantal, you're at the Galway Arts Festival, and this is the first time, which is incredible to think that this is the first time you've ever done.
I think what's happened is that when you're within your own country, because travel is kind of being stopped, that what's amazing, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself, but the others might agree, but now the Irish festivals, the Irish venues are looking inside the country and giving us more opportunities perhaps than we would have had before, which is allowing us to grow. Like for you and Spraoi to give us like 3 weeks, that's amazing, because then we can create work that we might not have been able to do, and then it's ready to take it out. So I'm hoping that continues, and yeah, you're totally right. Like, finally to be programmed in the Galway International Arts Festival is great, but it's taken this, so I think the learning would be great to look in and invest in what we have here rather than always looking out. I don't know what everybody else feels.
Something happened recently was an indoor theatre company, Goldie, asked me to come and do a workshop with them on bringing the indoors out, because they didn't know how to work outdoors, but that's what they've been kind of forced into doing. So there's that kind of opportunity as well, to be able to go and work with indoor companies.
Join Isacs for Goldie.
So yesterday they performed outdoors in Roscommon. So
great.
Yeah.
Welcome to our world, for Goldie. Are you listening? So I think we'll wrap it up there. We've just run over 5 minutes over. So thank you so much to all the artists. I think I have to stand in the light here. Thank you so much to all the artists. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of you for coming. Thank you for coming in from everywhere, Mexico, Russia, Mallorca. Hi, Mallorca, everybody. And
yeah, and just to remember, we're here for a reason. This is a sales room. Now, the philosophical conversation you've heard for the last half hour is all very interesting. But at the end of the day, this is a sales room, right? And for those of you looking in with budgets to spend in 2020-22, you've seen a really nice and interesting selection of Irish artists available to book for events in Ireland and for events to book abroad next year. All of the companies presenting here today are performing at Spraoi this week or at Greenway Spraoi next week. That's the highest recommendation that I can give to you, because the standards of this festival, if I say so myself, are very high, and our program director, Miriam Dunn, has been doing this for a long time, and we just don't put on acts at Spraoi in a random way. It's quite thought out, and the very fact that these acts are performing at Spraoi this year in these conditions is a great recommendation, I think, to you, and a great reassurance to you that when you check up on their website, you're dealing with talented people and, critically in the current situation, practical people. One thing, there was a significant discussion there, and I'll just keep this brief, on the values of online versus live. And of course, we all prefer to play live, but there's a practical reason as well. Online dissemination of artistic work has virtually destroyed the mighty music industry. And there are reasons why 70-year-old men are strapping on their guitars again and touring the world. It's because their sales and income from recorded work has been destroyed by online dissemination. So we've got to be really careful about what we wish for with online dissemination of work, and agencies such as arts councils and others have to be really careful about the rush to online because it's convenient. Convenient isn't always good for our industry. So with that, it's fantastic to have these wonderful people here. I highly recommend them to you. And if this was one of those TV shows where you could kind of vote now or buy now, I would get your credit cards out and I'll go straight to these companies' websites and hire them for the next available event in a town near you.
Further to add, thank you all for coming, and we shall see you all soon. We've got the number.